In order to understand how home.html triggered the behavior to open up something like this page, we need to go through several components. The first of them is web.xml, where I want to point your attention to one particular mapping. This is the mapping. What this basically says is all star.htmls point to Spring App. Spring App is defined up here, where Spring App is pointing to dispatcher servlet. Okay, and the important thing to understand about this particular server name is that there is a convention in Spring that whatever name is sitting here against the dispatcher servlet, same name's XML will sit here, Spring App-servlet.xml. So if you change Spring App to say my app, then this guy will be my app-servlet.xml. Okay, that's the first Spring convention that you understand. Open up Spring App servlet.xml. What it has is some definitions. The first thing you notice is that there is a key called home.html which points to Spring App controller. This is part of a mappings list and it's part of a Spring utility class called simple URL handler mapping. So I could say slash mypage.html and point it to some other controller, some other class, and automatically that class gets called. So Spring App controller points to a particular class called com stockapp controller Spring App controller. Let's open this class to see what is happening. So the best way to open this class is, since we have this selected, Control C is what I am going to do. Navigate, open type, and it's already selected. Say OK. So Spring App controller is open at this point. Now Spring App controller is part of the MVC pattern. MVC is model view controller. So controller basically gets a web request and redirects to a resource. Some of what I'm going to talk about now will definitely be complicated and complex. You would probably not get it in the first shot, but as we keep going through this development, some of these things will start to make sense. Okay, Spring App controller. We have a method called handle request. Handle request is the method that is called when this controller gets its input, or when you do a get, this is where the control comes. Okay. At the offset, it's very difficult to understand what's happening here. All we do is we basically accept a request parameter called redirect, and then we get a Spring context here. We get a bean from the context, and then we run the beans build content method, and then we dispatch request to a particular JSP. Now, if you understand all of this right now, you are a genius, but let's walk through each of the steps and then we'll revisit this and then it'll probably make sense. Okay, I am going to switch to the URL and I'm going to show you this page. Ticker and quantity. Alright, so I'm going to enter a ticker SPX and a quantity 10 and say submit. Something happened and it finally says this is the result page, and it now says redirect equal to result and ticker equal to SPX, quantity equal to 10. Let's open up the previous page, which is actually buy stocks. I am going to go to the Java perspective. Sometimes it just hides itself, so you have to find it. So minimize this, open up web content JSP buystocks.jsp. This is the buystocks.jsp. Okay, and then you have ticker, quantity, input time equal to submit. You will see that it's a very simple JSP. In fact, there is no JSP Java commands here. It's all completely HTML. So that's pretty straightforward. The only thing of note is form action equal to home.html. So what it means is the moment you click submit, the control goes to home.html, and now you know that home.html means the control goes to Spring App controller. Simple. Now the final output after you submit this, was result.jsp. So let's open up result.jsp. This is the result page. Not very useful. All we did was submit something and we don't know what happened and it just came up to result.jsp. That is not very informative. What we will do now is we will run another command for registering a new user, and for that I will take you through the MySQL part.